to Don't Mind If We Do. I'm Chelsea.
And I'm Michele.
And here we are.
Here we are.
Back again.
Today this was kind of my idea. Oh, I sort of forced Chelsea to do a little bit of a gratuitous promo of the upcoming Italy trip. And I wanted to share some of my experiences from Paris.
Fun.
Just to let people know, I guess, what to expect, even though Italy will be completely different from Paris, but what kind of an experience.
A similar experience, but a different trip for sure.
Yes.
Because it's a different place.
Yeah.
So should we just have this first before we start?
Well, we should probably sample something. That's a good idea.
And it's not local today because it is from Italy, which was suiting.
Just makes sense.
Yes. And also, I was going to say where I got it, but I forget because it's a mini bottle. Shoot.
I like those little mini bottles.
It's a little mini bottle of rosé, something, organic wine. And but semi-sparkling. Okay. I'm not going to try to pronounce this stuff because I don't speak Italian, but.
Okay. I'll let you open it and then I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
I'll give my best Italian accent because
you speak French. So that works.
Woo! Woo! Oh, that was a good one.
That's good. Okay.
And it has like the little stopper where you can kind of
so cute.
Close it back up again.
The size of it is very small, so you'd probably not need to close it back up again, but we'll see. I love that noise.
Thank you.
Yeah, we definitely won't need to close it up again.
Okay.
So, we're done. So 2 small glasses equals the size of what this little bottle is. Excuse me. But here you go. Yeah, Michelle's going to speak Italian.
It is Villa Teresa, a rosé vino frizzante. I think that's how they would say it.
Fizzy wine.
Yes.
Basically.
Fizzy wine.
Fizzy wine. Perfect. Okay, cheers.
Okay.
And I have had this before. It's yummy.
Okay.
I like it.
Here we go.
Sadly, it's a little bit warm, but...
And that sound was the ice cubes hitting my teeth.
Because don't normally put ice cubes with it, but it was warm, but
but
still
very
warm.
nice.
Still warm.
Very nice.
Oh, still warm. But good. That's good.
Good at any temperature.
Good. Well, no, it should be cold. For sure. It would be better cold, but it's yummy. Italy, let's just say they know how to make wine.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And wine in Italy is much cheaper than buying wine.
Yes.
In Canada.
As in Paris,
Yes.
which I learned.
Yes.
Because I had never had a Bordeaux. I'd never heard of it.
Oh.
I've never tried it. Normally just drink Cab Sav. I've had Merlot, but I had never heard of a Bordeaux. And in Paris, that is the cheapest wine. It was like $2.50 was the lowest in the grocery store. And that's euros, so like $4 Canadian for a bottle. Yeah. And then it went up. So we always tried to get like the mid price. So like $8, which we figured was probably like a $30 to $40 bottle here.
Yes. Yeah.
And oh my goodness, it was.
Yeah. It's amazing to go to Europe. Wow. What was that in my throat? To go to Europe and try wines there. I have my best friend from high school lives in the south of Portugal, and I've gone to visit her several times. And we would go to the grocery store and pick up a bottle of wine for €1, €2. I went to Spain for work. Same thing. We went in, bought some wine, some beer, and a couple bottles of water. And the water was the most expensive thing that I picked up.
It's cheaper than food.
It is.
For sure.
And I can get some of those wines I had in Portugal in the liquor store here.
Yeah.
And I would say they're probably
Not a dollar.
Not a dollar at all. No.
I know.
It's quite a bit more expensive. And I mean, they're not expensive wines even in the liquor store here, but when you consider paying €1 or €2 for something.
Well, these Bordeaux's we went to Il Terrazzo, and I was like, I really enjoyed the Bordeaux when we were there, so let's get a Bordeaux. The cheapest bottle was $75.
Yes, but there's a markup in a
For sure, it's double, so that's like a $35 to $40 bottle in the liquor store.
Yeah.
And we were buying it for like $5.
Yes.
It's like, oh, it's time to go back to Paris.
It's why I bought my bottle of champagne at the airport in Paris before I left.
I did as well.
Yes.
I bought 2, yes.
Yep, because
But I did not buy Bordeaux, which is weird. I bought champagne, which is also fun.
I bought Paul Roger, which is a champagne that, shout out to my friend Nicole, who is the commanding officer of HMCS Margaret Brooke, who I turned over to. She was the one who first gifted me a bottle of that when I was leaving, when I was getting ready to retire.
Nice. Is that the one you brought over here on your birthday?
Yes.
You brought your own champagne.
I did.
Which was very sweet.
Yeah.
And delicious.
And it's a very, very nice little one. And it was much cheaper to buy it there at the airport than it was to buy it here in Canada. So, yeah.
It's amazing.
But that's not what we're here to talk about.
That's the point of this. Go to Paris or Italy for your alcohol.
There you go. Okay. So I felt like now that we have all seen our pictures from Paris, I wanted to just kind of talk a little bit about what that experience was like.
Amazing.
What maybe I was expecting or not,
Yeah.
and what the end results were. And
I'm going to pause you just for listeners who have no idea what you're talking about. I'm going to do a quick little backstory.
Yes.
Vintage Chic Portrait took a group of women to Paris in October 2022, and it was a trip that we had planned in 2019. And then it was booked and it was shut down from COVID. So we finally got to redo the trip and actually go on it in October. And this was a trip planned through my business, and it had all sorts of things, which I'll let you talk about. But that is what Michelle's talking about with the pictures. We did 6 amazing photo shoots with clients and had an amazing time. So that is what she's about to talk about for anyone who is wondering what this Paris adventure was.
And so to try not to be too long-winded about this, but this started...
Long-winded. We got like 30 minutes. It's our podcast.
It's our podcast.
We've got all the time we want.
You can
tune out if you're
in
bored.
to listen to us. This is why we're here, because Michele likes to talk.
And even if there's 2 people listening, then whatever.
Yeah.
Cheers to you 2 out there.
Exactly. And the other 10 million who are also listening.
Obviously,
Yes.
yeah.
So this started when Chelsea and I first met, and I was trying to get some professional headshots because every picture that I had of myself was in a military uniform, and I had just retired. And I wanted something that was of just me, not with a uniform. Mm-hmm. And Chelsea agreed to meet me. So when I told her I was her neighbor, that I lived on the other end of the street, we decided, well, let's meet over a meal and some wine.
Obviously.
So we did that, and I came home from that meeting, and Dee says, so how was your meeting with Chelsea? I said, I think I'm going to Paris in October.
Headshots, what?
And he said, wait, you just met this person and you're going to go to Paris with them? And I said, well, she has this trip and it really sounds amazing. And I haven't been to Paris since I was 12 years old. And I kind of feel like I want to go to Paris. And being the ever supportive person that he is, he's like, if you want to go to Paris, you should go to Paris.
That's really sweet.
Now, initially, I will be honest. I was like, okay, going to Paris, having a professional photo shoot done with hair and makeup, is that something that I really want? You know, it's a bit of money. It's something you have to save for. You have to put away for it.
Yeah.
And I was looking at what the trip actually entailed, and we have some dogs outside that are really excited.
Dogs are
apparently.
barking.
They're like, "Woo, Paris!
They
Yeah,
want
it
to go
was
to
awesome."
Paris too. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, let's look at this whole trip. And I'm like, this is the trip of a lifetime. This is a once in a lifetime experience.
Just got goosebumps.
I get to, I'm going to go to Paris with a group of people that I had never met.
Yeah, strangers.
Yeah.
Punch the mic. I'm so excited. I'm going to punch the mic.
We did eventually all meet once before we left.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just one of these, like, it's the kind of thing I love to do. Like, bring a bunch of people together that maybe have never even met. Great, wonderful women with, like, good personalities, and let's go on an adventure
Let's travel
together.
the world together.
So, let me tell you what happened. We arrive in Paris, and I will tell you, I was not feeling well when we arrived.
No,
I had a terrible plane ride, and I had a bad headache, and I felt kind of sick to my stomach when we got here. We had a private driver pick us up at the airport.
Sure did.
Ferid, we love you.
So good.
And he took us on a 4-hour tour of Paris. We went around a bunch of different places. We stopped. We went into the Sacré-Cœur, which is one of the churches, which I had been in when I was 12 years old. And I walked in there, and we got to this point in the church, and I thought, I remember I lit a candle right here.
Really?
Like, I could remember being in that spot in the church. It was like goosebumpy.
And that was like 10 years ago for you.
Yeah, 10 years ago when I was 12. Exactly.
Yeah.
Give or take.
Give or take, whatever.
But we went to all these amazing places, and I was literally just trying to hold it together because I thought, I feel like I'm going to be sick and I don't want to bring anybody else down. But it was just so amazing. He was driving us through the streets. He was explaining things. He had a playlist that he was like, when the song would come on, I'd be like, oh, that's really clever because it really matches with what he's talking about right now.
Those two, Brian and Fareed, with their playlists and their knowledge of Paris, like, highly recommend if you ever go to Paris. These two are amazing.
So we get to our Airbnb, and Chelsea is there waiting for us. And we walk in, and this place is blow your mind. Amazing. Oh my God. We go in. It is marble and big chandeliers and
so much
big
gold.
Oh, it was unbelievable. We were fortunate because of the number of people that we had, that this Airbnb had 7 bedrooms, and there were 7 of us staying at that place. And the other 4 of you.
That was planned, Michelle. That was planned.
Okay, it was
7 and 7.
7 and 7. And then the other 4 of you were staying at a different place. Yeah. That would be Chelsea with Trish, who does makeup, and Caitlin, who does hair. And then Trish's daughter came with us on the trip as well. Yes. So the rest of us were in this Airbnb, which was unbelievable. Huge kitchen, bedrooms to ourselves, tons of bathrooms. We had our own laundry. There was so much. I mean, it was unbelievable.
I know.
And we arrived there and we're just like, oh my God, this is where we're staying for the next week. This is the most amazing thing. Okay, so that's just where we're sleeping.
Goosebumps, like, I love the apartment so much.
This is where we're sleeping.
Yeah.
And then outside of that, it was all of the other things that we did. So we had some free time, typically when people were having their photo shoots done. And then we had a whole bunch of excursions that were already organized by Chelsea. So we had a full day at Versailles. It was unfortunately the day that we had the worst weather.
The storm.
It rained.
The one storm we had.
And was windy.
Yeah.
But it was amazing. We went to the market first.
Oh, so the Notre Dame market.
The Notre Dame market. And then we went into Versailles, which again, I had been when I was 12.
Yep.
I recreated a photo that I took
did.
where the weather was pretty similar when I was 12 years
you
old.
had an umbrella in your 12-year-old picture, right?
So I don't think I had an umbrella, but I was definitely
it was in this one that
cold
you did.
and wet. But I had my umbrella in this one.
Okay.
We went toured the gardens. We had a picnic lunch that was supposed to be outside, but the weather did not let us, so we had the picnic lunch inside, which was amazing. Curiosity. Something Curiosity.
Collective.
Curiosity
Collective.
Curiosity Collective.
Yeah.
They were phenomenal. They were so sweet. Just the 2 loveliest young girls that we dealt with.
Marie and...
Oh my goodness.
You keep talking.
Okay, you look up her name.
Because that's horrible. She was lovely. She's the owner, so...
And we went all over Versailles. We had our picnic lunch, and they were just the most amazing. It ended with a...
Cat. Sorry.
Cat. Yes, Cat and Marie. It ended with a boat tour that didn't quite go according to plan, but that was only because there were some technical issues with the boat. However, we were floating on the Seine River, drinking champagne and eating macaron and listening to a playlist and dancing and having the time of our lives.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a half-an-hour boat cruise. We ended up getting to be on the boat for an hour and 45. So really, like, we were the winners.
We were the winners. We really were. We had a jewelry making class at Oscar Bijou.
I'm wearing all of mine still.
Oh my goodness. And I made a bracelet, and I bought a second piece that could be a bracelet or a necklace.
Oh, the wrap thing.
And a little ring that I bought there. And it was just the cutest little thing. And I would love to do it again if I had a magnifying glass, because that was the hardest part. I was not able to see how small the things were.
I feel like we should say her name as well, since we're saying everyone's name.
Sure. Yeah.
Goodness.
At Oscar Bijou. There was 2 of them there.
I only have the name of the one girl because she's who I was communicating.
And they were so sweet again. Just, they put up with so much from all of us as we were trying to figure out what we wanted and how we were going to make it. And yeah, beautiful, beautiful little, like, cool pieces that they have with different colored beads. And it was just amazing. And you couldn't help not buy something after you had made something. It was fantastic.
And it was just so pretty. There was a strobe light that was going funky, but
we
other than
had
that,
one light that had some technical issues. Technical issues seem to be a theme with some of the stuff we did.
Things out of my control.
Things
Let's
out of
put
your
that-
control.
Put that out there.
We did a perfume making class.
We did. That was with Emmanuel.
Emmanuel at Candora.
Look at you and your name remembering.
Hey, yeah. Well, I put my perfume on today. I sprayed it on a little too thick, but I still love it.
Kelly, sorry, is the jewelry.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
Kelly.
Yes. Yeah. And then the perfume making class was really cool because we learned a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got to make our own fragrance, which you can then register online and go back and order your own anytime you want. If you wanted to order a bigger bottle and have them engrave it for you, you can do that.
I think we all, did you do that?
I
think
did
we
not
all-
get an engraved bottle.
Most of us did the upgrade to the engraved bottle. And then mine dumped everywhere. So mine's empty, but it's engraved. And one of the people from the trip has already ordered her second bottle. She messaged me. She's like, I just put in my order for my next bottle of perfume.
That's amazing. And I was thinking about it myself, like, I am so glad that I have this hidden away online in their database so that I can, when I run out of this, go back and say, you know, I actually really like this and I want more of it.
Because just smelling it like brings you back to being in there.
It does.
Yeah.
It really does. And that was a lot of fun. I thought, ooh, I'm a migraine sufferer. Is this going to trigger something? I actually had it was beautiful. It was a lovely time there. Good. What else did we did the food tour. Oh my God, so much food. We could have stopped after the first restaurant.
My word, yes.
It was
the cheese and wine
cheese
tasting.
and wine and charcuterie. And by the end of that, I was like, well, okay, cheese and bread.
Night's over. We're
Peace
good.
out. No, we went to 4 more places after that.
Was it 4?
I think so. We went to the Thai place. We went to the place we had the falafel.
Mm-hmm.
We had the croque monsieur.
Oh, which should have been the start because that was my most favorite food in Paris.
And then
was
we
that
ended with those sticky bun things at the
desserts.
chocolate store. Yeah. It was incredible. If anything, I would say to... Oh, who was it that did that one? Oh my gosh, she was so cute.
I feel like maybe that was Kat, and I said the names wrong.
Oh, that was Kat.
Was it?
Yes, I think that was Kat.
No, it wasn't. No, Kat was the other one.
Here you go.
This is not being prepared for sure.
We're winging this because I wanted to talk about this right now. The food tour was unbelievable.
It's saying Claudia. Her name wasn't Claudia. So Claudia is the owner. The person who did the tour wasn't.
No, but she was so good and so sweet and so just amazing. And the only thing I could say about that was, A, either don't eat anything the entire day before you're going to do it. Or B, maybe they need to have smaller portions at the places that we had because there was just so much good food that you did not want to get rid of anything. So I...
Luli.
She was so
That's her name was. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Luli. She was lovely.
Yes. And it was like walking all through Montmartre and like up around the Moulin Rouge and all those areas. And she was talking all about the history and the different things and the food influences. And it was...
And that's actually where we found the location for our last and final photo shoot, which was happening the next morning at 5 a.m. We were there, standing there at like 10 o'clock at night, and I looked through the gate, and there's a friggin' carousel just sitting there with this big open cement area with the church in the background.
Yeah, right in front of Sacré-Cœur.
I'm not going to pretend that I can speak French, but that one, the nice, beautiful church, which is very famous. And then this carousel, which happened to be the first carousel ever in France, also famous and protected, which we found out the next day during our photo shoots that you're actually not allowed to take photos at this. But we showed up with 2 beautiful women dressed in huge gowns and with the whole team, and we managed to get some, but we had to...
You had to work at it.
We had to work it out a little bit. The carousel, you were not allowed to take professional photos of the carousel, but you were allowed to take them on your cell phone, which made no sense.
Interesting.
I don't know why.
But they were beautiful.
Well, they were
just
fun.
Such beautiful
so we
pictures.
still did make it there, but that was the only reason that we changed locations for that photo shoot was because of that, of where we ended up that night, which was fun.
And then our last day basically was kind of, well, there was a photo shoot on the last day for Christine and Christina. Yep. And then the rest of us kind of had the day. And so I know myself and 2 of the other girls, I actually walked, according to my Fitbit, 18.
Get your mouth in front of the mic, Michelle.
18 and a half kilometers.
Oh, here's Michelle. You haven't heard her for the whole show.
I'm too excited.
There there she is.
We walked 18.5 kilometers on the last day. We had crepes and lattes and walked around and had stopped somewhere else and had wine. And we met everyone else at the end of the day under the Eiffel Tower in the dark and had champagne and cotton candy to watch the lights come on for our last night in Paris.
Because for those of you that don't know, I didn't know, the light show that they put in the Eiffel Tower, where it starts to light up and it's all sparkly at night, it's because of their energy crisis that they were having, which I didn't know anything about it anyways. So at 8 o'clock is when the light show starts, but it only goes for 5 minutes on the hour.
Yes.
So at 8 o'clock, you get 5 minutes of it, which I was bawling every time. Like, it was so ridiculous what happened to me when I saw the Eiffel Tower. There was tears. I was FaceTiming people. I'm like, I don't know, but look at it. It's just look at it. I'm bawling like an idiot. It's crazy what certain things can do to you when you've waited your whole life to see them.
Yes.
So that 5 minutes was amazing to me. And then at 9 o'clock, it does it again on the hour. And then I think it stops at midnight. But what I didn't know was that it's supposed to start at 8 until midnight.
And they keep going.
And twinkle the whole time.
Yes.
Yeah, I had no idea. I was like, oh, cool, 5 minutes. We get 5 minutes. Oh, well, no, that's actually not how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know.
You're making me tear
I
up
can
now.
see
And it's
that. I was
funny.
going to ask you, like, are your eyes watering?
It's funny because, no, this is something in my eye. Because I had, like I said, I had been to Paris before. I was there when I was 12. I had seen it all. So I was appreciating watching other people experience this for the first time. For me, I was kind of like, yeah, I've seen this before, and it's really cool to be back here. I wasn't having that same emotion. But now listening to you talk about how much it affected you, now
I'm crying again.
Oh, my goodness.
So the first time I saw it, Kate, who came with, she's part of my dream team. She does the hair, amazing hair. Her and I went off on a tour with Brian, who is friends with Farid, the other private driver. So we had hired Brian, and he took us on a 4-hour tour of the city. I think it was the next day that we got there. So the first day we got there, we did our own thing because we got there before you guys all did. Mm-hmm. And so, like you had said, like when you travel, like not everyone just feels amazing when they travel, and time change doesn't do great things for stomachs and all sorts of things and heads and whatever. So the next day, Kate and I had this tour booked. And so I hadn't seen the Eiffel Tower yet. We hadn't, our Airbnb wasn't close. So we were like looking at other stuff. We had gone and seen some cool stuff. And so when we were driving, we drove around it in the day, and we went around this little roundabout right where we actually did all the photo shoots every morning, right by the Trocadero. We had gone around the roundabout, and the first, and it's, if you've never been there, you go around this corner, and then it's all of a sudden just there, and it's open. The Trocadero is this beautiful stone platform, and then you can see the Eiffel Tower right through it. And so we just came around, and it was like the most ridiculous amount of tears, and I was in the front seat, like, I don't know why I'm crying, I'm sorry, I don't know, I couldn't help it, I couldn't stop. It was so crazy, and he was laughing. He's like, no, it's good, it's fine, it's normal. Like, this is insane, like when you wait so long to see something and then you see it in all of its amazingness. Yes. And then our tour was 4 hours, so by the time we were close to the end, it was dark, and that was daytime. And we had champagne. Like, you can drive with champagne in Paris. It's pretty awesome. We had to make a couple stops for more champagne. It was very fun. But then it got dark. And so then the lighting, everything's different. And then we went down the street, and he put on this playlist that is now forever our Paris song, The Fire on Fire by Sam Smith. Like, nobody else will get it except for me and Kate, who were in the back seat. He's like, our tour was basically over. And then he's like, okay, this is like, we're coming to the end. It's our last drive, our last road. And he knows what he's doing. Let me tell you.
Oh, yeah.
So we were coming down this road. There was like under a bridge. You couldn't really see much. You could see the Eiffel Tower a little bit. And he timed it so that right at 9 o'clock, when the 5-minute light show came on and the Sam Smith came on, and the words, and it just went, the explosion of the song started with the explosion of the light show on the Eiffel Tower, and he hit the street where the view, all of a sudden came the whole Eiffel Tower into view. Oh my God.
They were so worth it, those two guys.
Like,
they are unreal.
You cannot unsee that.
Yeah.
And that song for Kate, and I will never be the same. Like that is the Eiffel Tower song.
And it's funny, I look now at the pictures that I took myself just on my cell phone as I was there, and I was like, oh, and this angle of the Eiffel Tower and this picture of the Eiffel
It's
Tower
so big.
and the Eiffel Tower. And it like,
And the Eiffel Tower with the carousel beside it.
Yes.
And then the Eiffel Tower not with the carousel. And from the top and from the bottom. It's the most beautiful
it really is.
thing.
So let me tell you about the photo experience, the photo shoot experience.
Yes.
Again, I was sort of like, I don't know, do I want to have pictures taken or not? And then I thought, you know what? If I'm going, I'm paying for the pictures too.
Right.
Why not? Let's do this.
Go all out. Go big or go home.
Go big or go home. You know, it was, and as I said to Chelsea, because for a little while I was kind of back and forth in my head about, am I going to do this or not? And then I was at home and I was cleaning up some stuff and I was going through some boxes. And what do I find?
Fate.
But the pictures and my boarding passes, like my ticket from the school trip I did
When you were 12.
to England and France when I was 12 years
10
old.
years
And I was
ago.
like, okay, this is a sign.
Totally.
I need to do this. So that was when I said, Chelsea, I'm all in. I'm going. Let's do it. Whatever.
Sign me up.
And I'm typically a no makeup, sweatshirts and leggings or
As we are
jeans
right
kind
now.
of girl as I am right now.
We both are.
You know.
Yeah.
And
Everyday life.
but I like get dressed up every once in a while. Have somebody take your picture. It's
Right.
good for you. It makes you
is
feel
good
good
for
about yourself. It's why you do what you do here with your boudoir photography.
It's true.
And this experience, I cannot even explain it because I'm going to get emotional again because I'm thinking about my pictures now that I look at them. And it's funny because when Chelsea unveiled them to me, I was just kind of sitting here and I thought when I walked out, I'm like, she might think I don't like them because I didn't really say very much. But I was looking at them and thinking, well, do I like this one better than that one? And which one? Like, how am I going to pick 24 out of all these pictures that she has shown me? Because they're so beautiful. Because at 5 a.m, they show up at the Airbnb. You get your hair and your makeup done. You put on your first outfit. You go outside. You get into your private vehicle with your driver. He takes you to the Trocadero. As the sun is about to come up, you're in front of the Eiffel Tower. I'm dressed in this beautiful dress.
Just crying over here. Oh,
My first outfit, I was wearing my point shoes that I've had
Oh,
since
my
I was a
word.
teenager that I
So
have not
gorgeous.
danced in since I was a teenager because I was never very good at it.
you were good at it in front of the Eiffel Tower.
And I got out in front of the Eiffel Tower on wet marble.
Yeah, it was raining. Yeah.
And I got up on point and I got some pictures taken in front of the Eiffel Tower. And then after myself and Angel, who was my photography companion that day, we finished that shoot. Oh, by the way, there are people taking pictures of us and taking videos of us because they think that we're like, I don't know,
Famous.
fashion models or something. I don't know.
100%. You're everywhere, I'm sure.
We jump into our van. There's tulle and fucking stuff going
Jewelry
everywhere.
flying and
As we're
tulle.
getting changed in the back of this blacked out van, driving off to the next location to get our next set of pictures taken, and then driving off to the next location, doing another change as we're getting our next pictures taken. And the experience was just amazing. And I'll tell you, after this, coming back home, before I'd seen any of my pictures, I was like, there's a little bit of like withdrawal, you know.
Yeah.
And I know some of the other girls, we talked about it. Oh, I went and got croissants this morning. Oh, I went and had
Yeah.
some champagne because I kind of
Went and
miss
spent $75 on a Bordeaux at the restaurant.
because, you know, missing Paris a little bit. And so I was like, okay, you know, I know some of the girls that were on the trip were talking about this Emily in Paris show. And I'm like,
good.
okay, whatever, I'll watch it. And my apologies that I don't particularly like the storyline
You don't
and
love
stuff.
it like I do.
But I appreciated the scenery in that. And I wanted to do it because I was like, ooh, we were there. Ooh, we were there. Yeah. And then there's a scene in the show where they're filming a commercial on the Gold Bridge where I was like, oh my God, I was right there getting my picture taken in the same place where they're filming this. And then the new season of Emily in Paris comes out and there's a shot of Chez Julien, which was the place we went for our brunch.
At the friggin' table that we
They were
sat
sitting at the
at.
same
I
table
know.
as us. It was amazing.
That was fun.
It was amazing. So I guess all of this is to say, talk about something that was well worth the money. We didn't have to think about really anything. A couple of times, we had to like get to the jewelry making place. We had to get to the perfume making place, which you can either walk or take an Uber because Ubers were a huge
So
thing in
helpful
Paris.
there,
So
yeah.
easy there.
Yeah.
We really didn't have to think about anything. Oh, we also had a private chef come to our Airbnb and cook us a 4-course meal.
Yes. Chef Michael.
Chef Michael with his
Michael.
team. He was the cutest.
So
little guy.
cute.
He was so sweet.
He was cute.
He didn't speak much English, and I, in my best French that I could, tried to explain. We had a gift for him. We gave him a bottle of Empress gin.
Yes, you did. So
which was
thoughtful.
local. And I was trying to explain to him about the gin and why it's the color that it is and all that kind of stuff. It was a lot of fun.
Because it's purple. For anyone that doesn't live in Victoria.
Look up Empress gin.
Yeah, it's so good.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were so many of these things. Talk about something that was so well worth it because we really didn't have to think about anything. The most we had to think about was, okay, when I got up this morning, oh, by the way, Chelsea already left like wine and coffee and croissants and some fruit and some other things in the kitchen for us. So even that was a no-brainer. Wake up, oh, I guess I'll just eat one of these croissants that Chelsea left here for us. We didn't have to worry about anything. You did so much work, and I don't know if people understand how much work went into the planning of this.
3 years.
And and all of the excursions. So now, Italy is the next trip.
Italy is the next dream getaway.
And so tell us.
I don't think I can describe it like you did.
I don't know. Okay.
Michelle, why don't you tell us about Italy?
I don't know. I know that we're going to it's a small community. So we're not going to like big touristy parts of Italy.
Right. So this, like what you have described from Paris was an epic Paris vacation. And Paris is like, it is a known tourist location.
Yes.
The Eiffel Tower, it's iconic. All the things that we made sure to go see, Versailles, the church, all of the things, those are iconic.
And we were going there at a time just as everything is opening back up after COVID. So everybody was wanting to travel.
Yeah. So that is very opposite of our upcoming Italy trip. This one, there are a lot of iconic places to see in Italy. That is not what we're doing for this one. This one is more of an authentic Italian getaway experience. Yeah, where we are going to walk the streets that are going to take us back 1,000 years. And it's not going to be with 1,000 people beside us. It's going to be probably just us.
Because there are literally only 900 people in Montepalro.
There is not even 1,000 people in the town that we're going to. But on the other end of it, it's going to be amazing and epic in its own way because we are all going to be staying at our own private resort. So we'll all get to stay together. It's our own resort where there'll be no other people, just us, our group that's coming. Essentially, we'll have private chefs for ourselves the whole time anyways, so all meals are included this time. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And with lunch and dinner is Italian wine that's included for all meals, all lunch and dinners.
Oh, wait. What was the response that you got?
Yes.
Okay, so a prospective client asked Chelsea, oh, so when you say wine is included with the meal, is that like one glass of wine? So Chelsea
great question.
Chelsea asked the owner.
Because when she asked me, I was like, oh, I never thought to ask that question. She said wine was included. So, okay, that's a great question and fair question. Like if you're going to say wine is included with lunch and dinner, that's a fair question. And so I said, well, I'm going to have to get back to you on that because I never thought to ask. As a wine drinker myself, I found it weird that I had never asked it. So I asked her, I just sent her a message. I was like, oh, somebody is asking, like when you say wine is included with wine or with lunch and dinner, what does that mean? Is it like one glass? And then the client had also said, and if I want to have wine in the evening, being such a remote town and village, is there wine available to purchase for us? Like I would like to enjoy a glass of wine in the evening. Is there somewhere available? I'm like, oh, I'm sure. Like there's probably a liquor store or something. So anyways, I sent this message to the resort owner just because I wanted to find the answers. So I had sent her it, and then her response, I'm going to read it because it was amazing, starts off with a laughing emoji face, like tears streaming. She's like, well, that's a first, being asked A, if you only get one glass with your meal, and B, if there might be no access to wine in a hotel in Italy. And then she continues on to say wine is free flow during the meal. Outside of meal times, there is a bar and also an honesty bar on each floor, stocked with wine, Prosecco, beer, and spirits, payable on consumption, of course. So no need to worry about a shortness of wine.
Yeah.
Wine will be fine.
If you're worried about whether or not you're going to get wine,
it's free flow.
Yes.
Whatever that means. I don't know if she's met Canadians before, but I guess
they're Italian.
Right. So it's way more.
I don't think we need to worry about that.
That's true. Yeah.
And so instead of there being like going out to somewhere like
so we do have excursions. We have all the trips planned. Excuse me. This warm bubbly is
bubbling inside.
It's bubbling inside. It's bubbling up. So originally I had some things planned where I wanted to do like the big trips to the touristy areas, and she's like, the resort owner, her and I have been working really closely together, and she's like, you're missing the point of this resort and this town. Like, if you want all that, you should go to Milan or Rome, the big cities. I'm like, I don't want that. I want like a nice quiet, because the scenery there is different than Paris scenery. Yes. It's not a city. It's like beautiful. Well, the beautiful nature.
The city itself is like kind of on this hill, and it's just if you Google Montepello
wineries,
you see this beautiful. Oh God, it looks like going thousands of years back in time. Yeah, it's beautiful.
So it's different, and she's like, "Oh, if you want all the touristy stuff, like this isn't the place for you." I said, "No, like we just did that, and this." So the funny thing is, when we went to Paris, as in my dream team, when we would go off for meals by ourselves without the rest of the ladies, we found ourselves eating mostly Italian when we were in Paris.
Interesting.
Like, the food's so good here. It's so good. It was mostly Italian that we actually ended up eating, and it was so amazing. So this Italy trip is more focused on slowing down food and drinks. Like, it's all the food. We're going to do all the food things.
And what are we going to do?
Literally, all the food things and all the wine things. So we have this class that's booked to learn how to make Italian pasta. Mm-hmm. So this one isn't in the little town. We actually get transported off to some other little town where we go to this little authentic place, and they're going to teach us how to make Italian pasta. And then the fun part is we all get to sit together as a group and eat the pasta that we made. Super fun.
That's awesome.
My second favorite food besides pasta is pizza. So our other class, and this is in the town of Monteparo, so we'll walk there, and it is also a class to learn how to make Italian pizza. We're going to make the dough, we're going to make all of it ourselves, and then again, we're going to sit together and we're going to have lunch together and eat the pizza that we made. What's the other one? We are doing... So we have one full day tour booked, and that is the tour of Le Marche. And that, I would have to pull it up to get the exact details. So if you want more details of that, you can message me and ask, because I'm not going to give false ones. But it's an olive oil. We're walking the grounds of a lot of like cool Italian things. So
Italian things.
It's going to be a good one. It was one of the biggest ones, so it was an exciting one. I just am drawing a blank on the details. And then another one, we have a local painter that's coming to the resort, and we're all going to have a painting class on the veranda to paint the scenery that we see.
Oh, cool.
To take home with us of what we saw from our trip.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's fun.
Mine will be terrible, but
mine will be
okay.
like shit. But there'll be a few streaks of like blue and green, but I'll always remember it was Italy.
Exactly. Yeah. It was Italy.
Exactly. And we have a bonus little class. It's a hat making class. This woman is coming to the hotel. She makes gorgeous different kinds of hats. And she's going to teach us like what kind of hat fits your face shape the best, and you can not decorate it like with bedazzling or anything, but like these nice ribbon and whatever. And so that's going to be fun. That's just kind of an extra thing. And then, you can add on hot air balloon rides.
Wow.
And you can add on renting e-bikes to go around the town, because it is a 20-minute walk, I believe she said, to the next town.
Okay.
There's a lot of day hikes and hiking tours that you can do. Obviously, I did not sign myself up for that. So I'm like, I'll watch from the veranda of you guys all hiking those greens. Maybe I'll paint you while you're hiking down there.
Hiking, yes. Yeah.
And then, of course, the photo shoots. And we'll be doing the photo shoots in and around this gorgeous resort and the little village and the cobblestone streets. And then the green, I want to say pastures, but they're not pastures.
Like, well, I guess fields and
like
vineyards.
Vineyards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like mountains of gorgeous
It
stuff.
just looks like such a beautiful area.
It looks so gorgeous.
So cute. And
so it's different. It's calmer. It'll be more relaxed. There's also a pool at the resort, so you can just relax, put your feet up, rest by the pool, read a book in Italy, just do nothing if you want.
Yeah, it just sounds amazing. And having done the Paris trip, which was amazing, I'm now looking forward to this to being a totally different experience.
Yes.
I won't be having my pictures taken this time. I'll let somebody else do that. But I'm just looking forward to the whole experience, to all of the food making and the eating and
the eating, all the good food.
and the walking and the just seeing things that you wouldn't otherwise have the opportunity to go and see. Because again, when people say, oh, I'm going to go to Italy, it's always going to those places where people go instead of going to a small, authentic area where you're probably going to get more bang for your buck too when you're going to go out and try and buy something.
100%.
Because anywhere you go, like Rome or Venice or Milan, it's going to be marked up.
Tourist price, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And I learned my lesson when I took a solo trip to Texas back in the day. I think it was 2006. I had been watching Friday Night Lights. It was a show on Netflix, not the movie.
I remember the show. I loved the show.
So good. And I was single and young, and I was like, nope, I'm going to Texas, and I'm going to find myself a cowboy husband. I'm going to find my cowboy, because in Texas, look how sweet these guys are. Like, they're all so sweet and like Southern and great. So I booked a 3-week trip, and I booked Houston, Dallas, and Austin. The 3 major cities that doesn't have one cowboy or one person with an accent in them. None of it. I think I met one 80-year-old Mexican man who was wearing a cowboy hat, and he was about 4'3", and that's the only cowboy hat I saw. It's like, oh, okay.
You went to the wrong part.
Went to the 100% wrong part. Not that this is why I've booked the authentic town in Italy, because it's not. But I learned, and I did not, like, it was a fine trip. I hated Houston. It was the biggest, just full-on city, like downtown. It just wasn't fun at all. Dallas, I had fun only because of the people I met. And Austin, I had the most fun because of the people I met. And it's a more music oriented city, so it was more fun. So as much fun as all the big touristy spots would be, I'm super excited for the calmer, quieter, more authentic Italy experience. And if you are coming to meet your Italian husband, that's probably more likely where he's gonna be than in Venice or Milan. So it's no guarantee, but.
And then I guess the last thing that I should mention is just the quality of the pictures that you end up with at the end of this. Because, and I know Chelsea's over there now like, oh, you know how you say that, but it's the truth. It, you know, so Chelsea showed me 40 odd pictures of myself they're in color, and then the same pictures again, also in black and white, where I get to choose 24 of them for my little package. That was what our Paris package was. And one that gets framed that my mom and dad are going to get rid of a god-awful picture that they have of me from when I was 16 years old, and I do not want on their wall anymore.
Should be an upgrade.
With my big mall hair. Which tells you it was probably more than 12
post that
years
picture
ago.
in when we post about this episode. You'll see it in the photos, because you said it. So.
I said it, so I guess I have to. Yeah. And so to replace that picture there, getting a lovely picture of me in that pink dress that I love on my point shoes.
Point. You were up on your toes.
I was up on my toes.
On point.
In front of the Eiffel Tower on the Trocadero at sunrise. It's beautiful.
But her parents get it. She's not putting it on her wall. We're just going to clarify
I'm getting a print of it as well. Because we've talked about photos on our walls.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's weird about it, but her mom's getting a huge one though in Newfoundland.
And but the photos are just so beautiful. Like when you look at them and you just think, "Oh my God, this is me." This scruffy.
It brings you back to
it does. It takes you back there to like, oh wow, when we were there and we were waiting for the sun to come up and there were people around, and how we had to ask those buskers if they would move to the side so we could take our pictures.
And ask these people to stop filming.
Ask people to stop
FaceTiming people with them.
Angel was having her pictures taken in front of the Eiffel Tower, and somebody was actually FaceTiming someone in their family of her getting her picture.
To be fair, she was in a giant white feather robe and a black
amazing.
bodysuit.
It looked so good.
It was fun.
So good.
So to add into that, with the photo shoots, I have a giant couture wardrobe of all the fun feather robes, tulle gowns, sparkly gowns, huge, fun, over-the-top glam outfits that you'd never own for any good reason besides that you had a photography studio or you like to play dress up or you had fancy events. But all of those are included for the photo shoots. You get to pick your outfits. You guys got 3. I think Italy will be the same. You'll get 3 outfits, 3 different changes of outfits. So
yeah, and so we can post a couple of them.
Yeah,
to show you sort of what some of them are like, and a lot more of them are on your Vintage Chic
Instagram, Vintage Chic portrait,
social media of all of the girls that I even saw Catherine posted a reel of hers on Instagram. I was so happy.
I was very proud of her.
This is one of the women that went with us who is on social media but doesn't really post anything of herself.
Yeah,
and
doesn't
today,
want to be too public.
Yeah, and today she actually posted a little reel of
her
her photos, and they are so beautiful. They're so beautiful.
Fun. And that was her first professional photo shoot in 62 years. She had never had one. So she booked this trip to step out of her comfort zone, which is what I feel like a lot of people did. Because booking a trip across the world with strangers isn't most people's comfort zone.
No.
No.
And she was the first one to book when you first started this, right?
Off of Instagram.
Yeah.
I've never booked anything off Instagram except Catherine from Paris. Yeah, so sometimes it's worth just taking that risk and getting out of your comfort zone and doing something that seems super crazy but also seems super fun and you're just not sure. Go for the super fun route and just do it.
Just say yes.
Just say yes. Don't mind if you do.
Don't mind if you do. It's the experience of a lifetime. It really is. I can't say enough great about it. And I mean, I just say...
I did not pay her to do this
She
episode.
did not. I really wanted to say that all in all, worth the money, worth the experience, even if it's the only time you ever do anything like this for yourself, because it's important to do things that make you feel good about yourself.
It's true.
And this is what these people do. And now we're going to sit here and cry.
And you can tell that this wasn't planned because we are drinking warm, sparkling rosé just because this was an impromptu episode. So thank you for sharing how you felt about it. I do appreciate that. And now I have it recorded so I can listen to it over and over.
And so I say that
please do.
You don't have to be from Victoria to come on this trip.
You definitely do not have to be from Victoria.
If you're interested, check out either Don't Mind If You Do, our social media pages, or look up Vintage Chic and contact Chelsea and ask her about it. If you're interested in coming, you can join us from anywhere.
Anywhere. We'd love to have you. Would be fun. We've got some spots left, and we want to fill this private resort with just awesome ladies.
Yeah.
Oh. Don't cry now. Oh. Okay. On that note,
thank you for listening to me babble on about my Paris trip. I hope that this inspires somebody to want to do something awesome for themselves, and maybe we'll see you in Italy.
I feel like I babbled more about the Eiffel Tower, so it was a bit of babbling, but it's memory babbling, so it's like it just brings you back.
It does.
It's hard to stop.
See you in Italy.
We'll see. We'll see you in Italy. Don't mind if we do. Thanks so much for listening to Don't Mind If We Do. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you next week.